Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, prepare your ear holes for the best wrestling part, the hard-hitting wrestling show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Hard Hittin' Wrestling Show. I'm Ovi Muniz, and pretty soon we'll have my two other hosts to join me. Once again, this is the HHWShow. We're sponsored by Clovercrest Media. If you're interested in doing a podcast, please log into www.clovercrestmedia.com. Sign up. $15 at the minimum, $50 for full service. And if you want your voice to be heard, man, this is the perfect platform and the most affordable agency to go with so you can start your podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about the focus of the takeaway of Drew McIntyre, Dolph Ziggler, and the return of Heath Slater. As you all know, that Drew McIntyre is the WWE champion, and Dolph Ziggler and Heath Slater, well, they got something that is called "You Owe Me" or "I Deserve It." So we're going to talk about that later on. Also, we're going to recap on SmackDown, Raw, and unfortunately, we will not be discussing NXT this week due to the fact that Saurav Gurjar, who is one half of the Industry, that's the tag team, the monstrous tag team unit currently that was bulldozing through NXT, leaked the results of the NXT main event, and he did so on Instagram. I'm not going to tell you the results, nor anyone in my cast will be telling you the results. However, we can tell you that as soon as the main event was over, Gujar uploaded a story on Instagram and sharing the emotional charged moment of the winner of the match. So hopefully, if nobody else leaks it out during the comments below, hopefully, please just refrain yourself for telling us who won. Apparently, there was supposed to be a retake of the main event. We don't know, but we'll have to wait and see it on Wednesday night on NXT. However, hey, we got a good show going on. Again, our takeaways about the Drew McIntyre, Dolph Ziggler, and Heath Slater. Definitely going to talk about AJ Styles, Sasha Banks and Bayley, Rey Mysterio, and Randy Orton. And here we go with Big Jason in the house and Hollywood Heck Love. That's right, Heck the V. What's going on?
Hey, how are you
doing? Hey, man. Hey, this is by far we're getting closer to the meeting gritty part of what's going to happen in Extreme Rules, which is July 19th. That's a week from this Sunday. And let me play you guys a video clip so we can start the show. All right? So here we go.
I would hate to see you lose that for any reason. I would hate to see you lose that title for any reason before I got what I was after.
What do I owe you exactly?
You are the dominant WWE champion.
Stop.
Because of me.
I want you to give me what I deserve. I want you to give me what I deserve. What you, as a friend, promised me.
So, for all those words that's being said, if you say that someone owes you something, you're being criticized because they think that it is their right to have it without any type of effort whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right, because when we think about entitlement, okay, it's like the world revolves around me. It's me, me, me. Okay. And that right there is like an enduring personality trait. Okay. When we recognize entitlement chiefly by the effects that it has on us, whether it be envy, anger, frustration, And we seen that last night, with Heath Slater. Whether or not it was Dolph Ziggler putting, a buzz in his ear that shouldn't have been there, or it actually came from his heart that, it was something that he finally had to get out himself. So.
Yeah, this reminds me a lot of the "It Should Have Been Me" Dolph Ziggler, where he was just screaming there on the mat, yelling, "It should have been me." He was destroyed by Goldberg, and I think we saw a little bit of that with Heath Slater. He did have a free agent shirt on, so I don't know what that necessarily means. I know he did earlier today say this is like a new chapter. I don't know if he's gonna come back to WWE with a new gimmick, or he's a free agent. This was the last time we see him at WWE, and he goes to something like AEW or something like that.
Well, I doubt that he's going to AEW because Cody Rhodes dimed him out on social media that he'll never be at AEW, that he wasn't good enough. But it's good to see Heath Slater back, at least one more match. I think by him going down so quickly, it was pretty much the exclamation mark of him being that was his last match in WWE. And he made it known like that after the program when he had an interview and backstage. So, but to put himself in a situation, and especially, Dolph Ziggler is always going to play dirty, always going to try to get into Drew McIntyre's head. But for somebody to claim, hey, it was because of me that I made you and stuff like that, let's take it back that Drew McIntyre got fired in 2014, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And I think those 3 years that he went independent, found a way to improve himself. He got his body in shape. Dolph Ziggler did state, or Heath Slater did state that he grew, some hair around his chinny chin and stuff like that. Grew his hair out, and it's all good. He represent himself as the guy to represent WWE, not that babyface look that he had beforehand. But I still think that Drew McIntyre being with Dolph Ziggler and Heath Slater kind of ruined him because it made him stale. He was stalemating himself. So there was no room for him to even advance. And of course, he's talked about it before about him not putting all the 110% into the program and everything else. But he got a second chance. And his second chance was he came in through NXT, dominated, suffered through some injury, still was able to come back and then make it back to the main roster and defeat Brock Lesnar. And then after Brock Lesnar, he went on defeating Bobby Lashley, which technically that could be a questionable call, thanks to Lana. But he did it. He deserved it. He fought his battles. It was an obstacle that he had to go through, and we all go through that in life. So no one could sit there and say, you know what, I deserve this or I deserve that. Well, what did you do to deserve what's coming?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, no, you're right, because people that don't want to put forth the effort to do anything, to try to even accomplish anything, they just feel like they should have everything handed to them on a silver platter. It's one thing if you go out there and put everything, your heart and soul into it, blood, sweat, and tears, and then nothing is given to you, then you can have an argument. Hey, I think I deserve this. I've given you everything that you asked of me. But, if you haven't done anything to that point, then what is even the sense, Because it's just like you want a silver spoon in your mouth.
Yeah, this seems to be Dolph Ziggler's gimmick for the past year. Same thing happened when he challenged Kofi Kingston for the belt. It should have been him. He's entitled. He should have these opportunities. And now he gets them. He squandered his opportunity with Kofi Kingston. Now he's got one here with Drew. But who's next? Is next week he gonna bring out Jinder Mahal and just reunite the 3MB to try and get back at Drew or something? I don't know. Doesn't make sense. This just feels like the exact same thing that Kofi versus Dolph did last year, around this time too.
But I tell you what, I think what it is Drew McIntyre is a fill-in for him, so he gets some action because we're one pay-per-view away from SummerSlam. So there's rumors speculating that Brock Lesnar may return. So was not to say that we might see a rematch between them two, because we definitely know on the other side, on SmackDown, the Fiend will be making his presence on SmackDown. So all the all-star, all gurus will be returning. But hey, going back to the main topic here is, if you're going to want something and you want that award, you need to know what steps to take in order to grab it. All right. And we said it already. We can't just give it to you. You have to earn it. Sometimes you have to sweat it. Sometimes you're going to use all that energy. Even in school, how are you going to earn yourself an A? Are you just going to just breeze through the books and not pay attention? Or are you going to actually take the time, read the book, do your work so you get that A? Or in sports, no baseball player is going to jump right into the Major League Baseball. That's why it is called a farm system. You start low, you work your way to the top. So then even when people make it to the top, sometimes they go crumbling down because they get too comfortable, and they don't realize that they forgot that how hard they got to where they're supposed to be. So they get complacent. So my advice to everybody there, man, hey, work your ass off, because it'll pay the price at the end of the road.
Yeah. And it's funny that if this is Heath Slater's way of going out, I think he went out with a bang, because he cut the promo good. He looks pretty stout, pretty jacked up. You can see a real serious part of Heath Slater that we haven't seen since his days with Nexus. And I think Steve chimed in and said he looks jacked, which he does. I mean, he really looks good. I mean, he's really been putting forth effort for his physical part of his body. And the way he just cut that promo again and slapped Drew McIntyre, boy, that was like, wow. I like that.
Well, he got the taste of that Claymore. But we're going to see that Claymore and later on the show. But, hey, I agree with you. I think that the presence that Heath Slater came in, if this is his last hurrah, man, what a way to come out looking, stocky and his gimmick and everything else. I mean, I'm not surprised, because there's a lot of people that have potential that don't make it with enough television, exposure, and they end up going to like an independent wrestling program and then work their way up back to the WWE. But I just hope that they'll treat him like they did with Drake Maverick and give him an extension on his contract and stay put, because he'll be pretty good to be side by side with Drew McIntyre. But hey, let's move on real quick to our next topic here, and that'll be the SmackDown. Let's take a quick review.
Miz off the apron, and now Corbin gets involved. Morrison looks to take advantage of the numbers game here. Riddle kicks out again at 2. And now Riddle rolling Morrison up, shoulders are down. Final by Riddle, and he picks up the win. AJ Styles, as Corey said, a statement. A phenomenal forearm to Gulak. Hook of the leg, and AJ retains. Oh, and Nikki Cross. Nikki just got Alexa Bliss disqualified, and Nikki's had enough, though. Nakamura looking for a sleeper. Oh, he pinched it. And look at this. Oh, Nakamura caught him with a running knee. Cover by Shin. Hook of the leg on Kofi, and Nakamura.
But there you go. There you have it. Recap of SmackDown. I know Jace was trying to get too comfortable in his seat over there. But You can lean back, man, like Fat Joe. Lean back with it. But hey, AJ Styles, man, that match with him and Drew Gulak, was it necessary for him to do what he had to do? Why didn't he not just pin him right away? Why did he procrastinate for the ending?
I think honestly he's just making a statement. Just my opinion. He had him beat. He's just trying to justify who he is. With his finishing moves. That hey, I am the champion. I'm here to stay.
Yeah, I mean that was a chapter that he had to bring to a close for people to think he can move on. But like after he came out and attacked Riddle, like there's definitely some unfinished business there.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see if maybe Daniel Bryan will come to the show and confront, maybe get that another chance at the title again. But then again, AJ Styles before that match attacked Matt Riddle because he's still butthurt that he lost to Matt Riddle. So it was not to say that we're probably gonna see a future match, and who knows, maybe AJ Styles and King Corbin may collaborate with one another and try to defeat Matt Riddle. So we'll wait and see on that. Another thing that I called out to the show was the New Day. Kofi Kingston, excuse me, lost to Shinsuke Nakamura. Are the New Day finished as tag team champions?
I don't think so.
It's all you, Heck.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, we may be seeing a little bit of vulnerability with them, but I don't think we're seeing the end of it just yet. I mean, I know Cesaro and Shinsuke probably got their number right now, which I feel it's okay. Somebody needs to have their number, and we don't have anybody really going on the SmackDown roster to challenge them. And I think they have the advantage over them right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Kofi and Big E are doing what they can. They like the SmackDown tag team roster isn't. I don't think it's as good as the Raw roster right now. So they got to figure something out. I mean, the Miz and Morrison stuff was okay, but I just don't know. Like, I know there were rumors that Otis might cash in on the tag teams, but I don't know. I do want to see something happen here and go in a separate direction because it is starting to grow a little stale, in my opinion.
Right. I mean, we don't even see the Usos anywhere, which they were lastly on SmackDown. But Steve was commenting that the New Day needs a break, meaning that we should have a new tag team. And was not to say that maybe that we do see a new tag team champions and Otis comes out of nowhere with Tucker cash in and be the first to ever cash in Money in the Bank on the World Tag Team Champions.
Yeah, something interesting could happen there.
Maybe so.
Yeah, I think so. Especially if the New Day does take a break, then we're going to need somebody to challenge for those tag titles, and I think that would be fitting for them.
Right. And then the titles itself, let me tell you that Sasha Banks and Bayley are trying to be probably both of them carrying the 4 horsewomen by themselves to having all the gold.
Yeah.
How do you see that? Do you think that they have the potential of doing it?
Yeah, as dysfunctional as they are right now, they're making me a believer that they can do it. I mean, this is just a Laverne and Shirley, Abbott and Costello type story between these two, always putting the other one in a predicament that they don't want to be in, but yet they find a way, besides last night, finding a way of coming out on top. And I think it's premature for Asuka to lose that title, but Bayley, I mean, yeah, Banks is really talking a good, strong game.
Yeah, I think what Ovi said in the intro to that, them being the 4 horsewomen holding all the titles, is what we need right now. But then we need another one of the 4 horsewomen to come in, and it's not going to be Becky Lynch because she's taking a break because she's pregnant. It's going to have to be Charlotte. Where's Charlotte been? Why isn't she coming?
Well,
and
Charlotte's
I think she
right
might.
Now.
Okay.
So she might might be around just before SummerSlam. So we have to see on that because she had surgery in her shoulder, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But there are other superstars that we haven't mentioned. What happened to Bianca Belair? What happened to Shayna Baszler?
Yeah.
You know, where are these top superstars that's supposed to be on television? You know, and people are saying that Vicious Man is pulling a fast one on Shayna Baszler, and we haven't seen her since her gimmick at Money in the Bank.
I wonder if they're trying to change her gimmick because maybe Vince didn't like, you know, the gimmick that she had, you know, because I believe she was supposed to win the Royal Rumble and she was supposed to win the title, but you know things have changed at the last minute, you know, so there's something about her, and you know you can't really blame Vince because he is the mastermind behind all this, you know, and even now with the pandemic, he still knows how to put on a show and get the show on continuing. So there has to be a specific reason, but I don't think this is the end of Shayna Baszler. I think we will see her again.
Yeah, the kind of gangrel, like gangrel, like vampire stuff was not working.
So my control board was supposed to have the clap, but hey, we'll leave it like that. We'll leave it like that. But yeah, that vampire stuff with Becky Lynch, it just wasn't called for because that wasn't her at NXT. That doesn't show who she truly was or is. But the fact that, hey, you know, you got somebody that's potentially could have won the Royal Rumble, which probably got changed at the end. Could have been maybe the next Raw Women's Champion. And I think just because they knew that she was pregnant, they didn't want to just hand the title to her. And I wouldn't even say hand it because you had to earn it in Money in the Bank because for that briefcase is for the title. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's a win-win for Asuka because regardless, if she wasn't pregnant, Asuka would have cashed it in and still grabbed the title anyway. So, but yeah, so with Sasha Banks and Bayley having that potential, I still feel as though Asuka is still going to win and take that title. And who knows how long that's going to take because they have to defend them titles on Monday, this Monday coming up, Monday Night Raw versus the Kabuki Warriors.
Yeah.
So we'll see on that. Hey, let's move forward to the that's right. We're moving toward Raw, baby. We're gonna go straight up Raw. I know y'all love the music.
WWE champion. This show's and a Claymore to Slater by McIntyre. Wait a second. Bailey into the ring. Oh my God, it's Murphy. An eye for an eye. When Kevin Owens back into the fray. The frog splash. Mysterio gets to pick the stipulation.
I have the perfect stipulation for our match at the horror show at Extreme Rules. Very simple. Ojo por ojo. Eye for an eye.
And now Bobby Lashley, leader for the official, back into the ring. Oh, this animal has been unleashed. Little cohesion and cooperation there. Leave behind for Bobby. Oh, wait a minute, RKO. Oh, no, covered by Asuka. Asuka is Pink Bailey.
Yeah, so there you have it. Rey Mysterio stipulation. It's kind of got me off a little offset there. Eye for eye, ojo de ojo. Do you guys like that stipulation for Extreme Rules?
Huh? I mean, are we seriously? I mean, I get this. What we turning this pay-per-view into a horror fest? I mean, so we're gonna see blood coming out from Seth Rollins' eyeball because Ray only got one eye right now. He's going to lose the second eye. So, I mean, I don't agree with it. I like it.
I think what caught my attention was the reaction of Kevin Owens when he stared at Rey Mysterio like, really? That's what's going to happen? And before that, when Seth Rollins was trying to convince Kevin Owens to work, fight on his side. And even though he said that no, he would never do it, you think maybe, just maybe, for that particular moment, he may interfere and prevent that from happening?
Kevin Owens is a snake, man. You just can't trust him, just like Randy Orton. So it is a small possibility that he can. Yeah.
You never know what Kevin Owens is going to do. Earlier this year, we thought he was going to NXT. Like, he's all over the place, but whatever he does, whatever he touches, he seems to make it his own and make it well. So whatever he does do, as long as he is there making an impact, I'm excited for.
Yeah, well, we have to see. I mean, there's still plenty of things to happen. We still got one more show before the actual pay-per-view. So let's see what happens and see if Kevin Owens gets himself in that picture. But let's move over to Randy Orton. Randy Orton was involved in a 6-man tag match, and he had better control over Angel Garza and Andrade than Selena Vega. Like, he really showed the leadership. He really showed that he is the veteran in the WWE, and you don't need him to have a title to be a leader. And we said that before. Yeah. I mean, the Legend Killer is making things happen. I mean, there were some threats going into it, but we saw him grab the neck of Angel Garza and put him in reality and said, hey, shape up, man, because he'll get the 3 famous letters of the WWE, and that is the RKO.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he did a great job. That's leadership right there, in-ring leadership. He controlled the team, he controlled the match, just as he always does. Even though he still had his eyes focused on the Big Show, but he didn't lose focus on the match. He wanted to make sure that he won the match, just to make a point to the Big Show that I am coming after you and I will end your career. So yeah, I like that. I mean, it's pretty sad that it took him to do that, and Selena Vega can't do it, but maybe she could learn something.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
I also want to know how much of that was Randy Orton, but also how much of that was Ric Flair. Because Ric Flair was right there too. He was helping orchestrate this whole plan with Randy from the start. So maybe Ric Flair could help Selena get a better command over Andrade and Angel Garza or something, because that's what they need to be cohesive, as was showed by Randy on Monday.
Well, they definitely didn't show their ego, going into the match. So they put the egos in check and realized what's more important inside that ring. So instead of being against each other, they actually work together, and that's how you get things done, by collaborating and being a team.
Yeah.
There's no I in team, but I keep saying there's ME in team. There's me. No, not even close.
Do you think they could challenge the Street Profits at Extreme Rules?
I think they can. After what we saw in the 6-man tag, I think they could be able to work with each other. But they're not going to have Randy Orton there. They're going to have Selena Vega. So will Selena Vega guide them to win their match to become new tag team champions? It's very, very very hard to see that happening.
And I'm sure they'll be as dysfunctional as Bayley and Banks as tag team champions.
Yeah.
We'll have to see on that, man. But hey, we're gonna kick it to our last segment right here, and we're just gonna talk about pictures. All right, pictures indeed. But we'll be right back for our second part of the show. So stay put.